Thank you, madam, and I welcome you all for this presentation. So, I think everybody follows a lifestyle, but what the lifestyle that we are currently following, whether it is right or wrong, is one thing that we need to check. And second thing, the ancient people had also had a lifestyle. So, whether the ancient lifestyle that our ancestors, which they had adopted and they had executed. So we can see that there is a lot of difference that we have been able to see from the ancient lifestyle to the current lifestyle. So in that sense, we'll just go through the what are all the lifestyles that are being told in the Ayurveda classics and what are the benefits that are being told out of it, and if anything that is being there that we have currently adopted in our lifestyle which needs to be changed or modulated. I think these things can be incorporated and our lifestyle can be modulated, wherein these lifestyle changes helps us a lot in preventing the diseases. I think that was the one thing even Guruji was mainly highlighting regarding that of the lifestyle changes which could help in preventing most of the diseases. And nowadays we are coming across a lot of non-communicable disease. And when we see most of the cause for these non-communicable diseases is the lifestyle that we are currently adapted. So which needs a lot of modification. So in that sense, with the background of this, we'll just try to see what are the lifestyle that are being told in the ancient days and how we can incorporate them into our daily routine. So I think in one or two previous class, I think Dr. Kishore had given us introduction to that of Ayurveda and basic concepts of Ayurveda. So when we see regarding Ayurveda, there are mainly two aims of Ayurveda. The one is Swasthasya Swastha Rakshana and Aturasya Vikara Prashamana. So basically maintenance of a health in a healthy individual and cure of the disease. So it is just not only the science which deals with the cure of the disease. So the maintenance of health is also being main importance, and there are certain chapters which have been dedicated for the maintenance of health. So in that sense, today whatever all that we are going to see in terms of Dinacharya and Ritucharya are mainly from the viewpoint of maintaining the health. So, and when you see the definition of health according to Ayurveda goes as Samadosha Samadnishna Samadhatu Malakriyaha Prasanna Atma Manaha and Indriya. So there should be a balanced state of the doshas, that is the humors, that is Vata Pitta Kapha, Agni, the metabolism, the functions of the tissue elements, excretory functions, and apart from these somatic functions, even the other things that are being mainly considered are the pleasantness of the Atman, that is the spirit, mind, and the senses. So when these things have to be taken into the account, with the doshas are the Agni or the Dhatu Kriyas, that is the tissue functions, and the excretory functions, if they are to be in a state of homeostasis, these lifestyle modifications which have been told in terms of Dinacharya and Ritucharya play an important role. Why? Because each of the dosha has a diurnal variation and also a seasonal variation, where when we adapt these Dinacharya and Ritucharya, that is the daily regimes and the seasonal regimes accordingly, we will be able to bring a homeostasis in these parameters and we can achieve the health. And why these lifestyle changes need to be known? Why? Because I think we have been already, most of us might be having a tailor-made lifestyle, but still, what is the deviation that we might have taken from compared to that of the ancient lifestyle, and what is the importance of this? We'll just try to see. So, wherein if you see the ancient lifestyle was very disciplined and it was culture-based and it was in a complete harmony with relation to that of the day, night, and the seasonal rhythms. And over a period of time, the scientists have found out that there is no much change in the human genome, but there is a larger drift in compared to that of the lifestyle and the diet pattern, wherein this mismatch of the huge change in their diet and the lifestyle and the genetic makeup is resulting in lot of consequences in terms of manifestation of newer diseases, especially what we call as these non-communicable disease. So hence these discipline lifestyle could be serve as a basis for preventing of this. And if you see what is the implication of this huge shift, might be taken some time to study, but already we have been able to see the damage that is happening to the human race in terms of manifestation of various diseases. And if you see the diet and lifestyle practices of an individual influences his health. For example, if dietary and the lifestyle practices are positive, then the health would be in a positive state. Whereas if it is a negative, it would be a negative state. So that's what it is being told. And the behavior and the wholesome diet each other influence. Like for example, the unwholesome diet can influence the behavior and the behavior can influence the unwholesome diet. So hence, in Charaka Samhita, it is told as Ahara Sambhavastu Rogascha Ahara Sambhava. That is, we are all the epitome of the food. That is, we harpen the food and we grow. And the growth depends upon the food and the type of food that we take. So hence, whatever all the food that we take and the lifestyle that we follow is what that influences us. And it tells that Hita Hita Visheshascha Vishesha Sukha Dukkha Yoho. That is based upon the Hita and Ahita. Hita is wholesome, Ahita is unwholesome. So based upon that, if you have adapted Hita, it results in Sukha, which is health. And if you have adapted Ahita, it is Dukkha, which results in disease. And it is told that most of the diseases, around 50 to 60% of the disease can be managed with the changes in the diet and the lifestyle. So let's see what are those. And there are dedicated chapters in Ayurveda, as I told, which are more nearer to the culture and the lifestyle of the people. And for that, the main contents that are being told are the Dinacharya in the terms of seasonal regimes, the daily regimes, Ritucharya in terms of seasonal regimes and dietetics. So when you say why these things to be practiced, especially when we practice a daily regime, there will be a it channelizes our biological clock. So basically, we'll adhere to it, and it brings a radical change in our body, mind, and consciousness, and especially it improves the metabolism, and especially that is very much responsible for the peace, happiness, and longevity. And daily these regimes, especially either it could be a seasonal or the daily regimes, they serve as a foundation for healthy lifestyle. So if you want to lead a disease-free or a healthy lifestyle, these regimes play a major role. So what are those? So the first one is Brahmi Muhurta Uttishte. So especially here, the Brahmi Muhurta Uttishte refers to that of the idea of waking up early. So that is before the day break. So why? Because here the word Brahmi Muhurta, that the period, the Muhurta or the period, it refers to that of the Brahma or the Brahman, which is considered to be as the knowledge. So especially this is an apt time to receive the knowledge. So especially in olden days, you would see that the kids or the children who are in the ashram, they would be waking up early, and they used to indulge in the Vedabhyasa. Why? Because that was the apt time to receive and where there would be a better comprehension. So because of this, the cognition improves. Basically, in this Brahma Muhurta, the Sattva Guna will be more. So hence, the waking up idea would be an apt time, especially to receive a good knowledge. And even if you say in terms of metabolism, here the melatonin, from if you take evidence point of view, the melatonin goes slow towards the early hours of the day, and other hormones which are mainly responsible, which helps in that, especially the maintenance or focuses on energy and alertness throughout the day, they slowly creep up. So hence, it is very much important to wake up in the Brahma Muhurta. And if you are, many of them have also observed that when we wake up very late, especially when there is an attempt to wake up very late, it makes our throughout the day very lethargic and it makes us inactive. So hence, when we wake up very early, the mind will be fresh, the mood will be very stable, there will be no lot of mood variations also, and there will be a very clarity in our senses, and we will be able to better have a like our execution of the functions will have a more clarity. And there, as even the studies also suggest that especially early waking, especially it improves our executive functions, especially in the terms of attention and memory. Especially the study was done, and the study was done in a college wherein the children were given a task of waking up in the Brahma Muhurta, and their performance were assessed in comparison to that of the kids who were left alone to wake up in their own time. And it was seen that especially in memory and attention, they perform well when compared to that of the other kids. Next is the Ushapana. So once we wake up in the Brahma Muhurta, what next to be done? So especially we need some amount of the pressure that needs to be address the natural urges or the calls. And also when we take an early morning drink, so especially that is being stored in the copper vessel, you know that copper possesses a lot of antibacterial property, it is an anti-inflammatory property, and it is a natural purifier. So in olden days, the water used to be kept in the bronze vessel, and approximately around 650 ml was kept. So, and it was consumed after awakening. So this could help in proper evacuation of the bowels, which could help in maintaining the health of the gastrointestinal tract. And I think nowadays you are also able to see that most of the purifiers, they see that it is now the storage is coming with a copper. Why? Because copper is an essential element of the body, and it possesses a lot of health benefits. In that sense, this Ushapana mainly helps in maintaining of the health. Next is the Malotsarjana or the defecation, which is, I think most of us does, but at times most of us try to prolong the things, or majorly we may prolong the things. So especially here, the aspect is not that we are not cultivating the habit of daily defecation. It is timely addressing of the natural urges. It is very much important. We should not untimely or irregularly postpone these natural urges. Why? Because generally it leads to the GI disturbance, and there are studies to suggest that whenever there is a suppression of natural urges, there is a positive correlation between the suppression of the natural urges and the changes in the neurohormonal patterns, which results in a negative impact on the health. Especially this study was done in relation to that of the Mutra Vega Dharana, especially the suppression of the urine. So wherein lot of the study concluded with that of lot of unhealthy impact on the suppression of the natural urges. So hence, so these either the defecation or the urination that is been there as a part of Malosarjana needs to be addressed in time, where the suppression of natural urges could impact in the negative health. So there is a concept of Na Vega Dharana in Ayurveda, where there have been 13 natural urges which have been identified, and they need to be addressed timely, and they should not be suppressed. If they are suppressed, they lead to the negative impact on the health. The next is mainly is regarding that of the maintenance of the oral hygiene. So this is very much important. Why? Because the oral health influences a lot on our GI metabolism. So hence maintenance of the oral hygiene is very much important, for which mainly three things in terms of Danta Davana, Jigva Nirlekana and Gandusha has been explained. So wherein when you go to the concept of Danta Davana, it is just nothing but the brushing. So in olden days, the picks were preferred. Nowadays, the two different toothbrushes have been there. And especially when we see regarding that of the preference of the drugs that were being used in the olden days, for the brushing of the teeth, especially the taste of the drugs mainly that were selected were having predominantly astringent, pungent, and bitter taste. And when we see most of the drugs which possesses astringent, pungent, and bitter are possessing the properties of either bactericidal or antiviral properties. So especially we see neem, pepperlong, or this pongami or acacia. Most of these are bactericidal or antiviral in nature. So this was the twigs that were preferred, and they were being crushed. The front part was crushed, and that was used for brushing. But nowadays, the same drugs have been used either in the form of a herbal tooth powder or the toothpaste for the usage where these things can be used. And there are many studies to suggest that almost these herbal and non-herbal toothpaste are almost similar in terms of effectively preventing the plaques, gingiva, in maintaining the pH of the saliva and preventing the gum infections. So hence, we should make the brushing as a part, and especially even in the olden days, especially in the classics also in Samhitas, the brushing has been recommended twice, once after the waking and once after having the food. So this is what which especially helps in the maintenance of the oral hygiene. The second thing is the tongue scraping, especially again this also helps in maintenance of the oral hygiene, especially to cleanse the bacterial debris over the tongue, and especially it helps to increase the taste perception. Why? Because there are taste perception mainly happens in the tongue. So there is one type of kapha called as bodhaka kapha, which is mainly responsible for the perception of the taste, and this also aids in the digestion, further aids in the digestion. So you also see that saliva also, the digestion of the food starts from the mouth, where saliva also plays a role. So regular cleansing helps to clear the bacterial debris, prevent the bad odor, helps in proper saliva perception of the taste, and especially overall it helps to maintain the quality of health related to that of the oral. And the next is oil pulling or the Gandusha Dharan. So especially this is very much important, especially to prevent the or maintain the oral hygiene in terms of preventing the gingival infections, especially the gum health is been will be very much well maintained, and also it helps to prevent unnecessary development of the plaques or the bacterial development of the especially the plaques in the teeth and all. So holding the mouthful of the liquid and gargling is called as the Gandusha. So especially this Gandusha has been in classics, it is told to improve the strength of the teeth, gums, jaws, and strengthen the muscles of the cheek. And especially for this, the sesame oil is one that is being mainly preferred, especially the sesame oil, or at times even the coconut oil can also be used, but preferably sesame oil is the main that has been especially advocated in the classics. Especially it helps to prevent the bad odor, and also it helps to prevent the plaques, and also there are many studies to say that oil pulling will has a beneficial effect in preventing the gingival inflammation, and also to reduce the bacterial the count in the oral thing, which helps in maintenance of the oral health. So when we see even for the modern studies also, they suggest that the oral bacteria can spread through the body and have been associated with variety of systemic disease. So especially there are studies to suggest that the genome biology that is found in the oral cavity, nearly half of it is almost similar to that of that has been present in the stool. And we have been able to see that in most of the diseases, in several diseases wherein the oral bacteria have been reported in intestines, especially in inflammatory bowel disease, the liver cirrhosis, colon cancer, etc. So hence, as an overall, this oral maintenance of the oral health helps to prevent a lot of diseases that have been mentioned, that has been shown in the slides. Next is the Vyayama or the exercise. So this is very much important. Nowadays, everybody like they do the exercise, but what is the when to do the exercise? What is the appropriate amount of exercise that need to be done? And is there any seasonal variation? And what are the things that need to be done post exercise? These are very much important. And which are all the status wherein a person should not exercise? These are very much important. When we see always the Samhitas advocate that a person should always exercise to half of his one capacity. This is very much important. One should not overstrain himself, especially the persons who are very strong, especially who indulge in daily intake of fats, especially in winter season. The people should exercise to half of their strength. Whereas in the seasons like summer, rainy season, and autumn, the people should exercise less than half of their strength. This is very much important, especially when we see one of the indicator that one person should stop exercise is that when the person starts to perspire. So that is the point where the person has to stop exercising. And after exercise, especially this is very much important, the person should gently massage his body. So then only whatever all the wear and tear that happens that over a period of time because of exercise can be prevented, and the adverse effects that could happen because of the faulty exercises can be prevented. And especially the exercise is contraindicated in age and in status of indigestion. Why? Because when you do the exercises, most of the circulation will be diverted toward the periphery, and again the metabolism will be low in the stomach. So again, this increases the indigestion, and that could adversely affect on the health. And also the over exercise is contraindicated, wherein you can see that the evidence also tells that moderate exercises is the one that improves the level of immunity, whereas when you over exercise or overstrain yourself, it reduces the immunity and you are at the risk of developing certain infections. Wherein it has been found that especially the marathon runners are prone for upper respiratory infections during the period when they increase their mileage, especially in the first 2 weeks, especially when they increase their mileage. This is what that is been that is being seen. So hence, moderate exercises which improves the immunity, especially that has been told to the half of the capacity, is very much important. And when you go to that, we especially after the exercise, it is told to be lightly massage the body. So massaging of the body is very much important. Especially sesame oil is told to be as the best for the daily massage. If we are not able to massage daily, at least we should be able to massage 2 to 3 times in a week. There is a slight mistake. It is not at least 2 to 3 days in a week. That would definitely benefit. And especially it is told that head, ear, and the feet should be the focus should be mainly on head, ear, and feet. Why? Because you also seen that head and ear. When we see the ear is the where we try to hear, and the hearing is mainly aided by the vata dosha. So sound is transmitted to the air, and vata is one that has been responsible for the hearing thing. And head is the abode for most of our senses. So hence, when we do the regular massage to the head, it helps in nourishing these senses and prevent the conditions which could affect our senses. And also feet massage, you know that it helps in regulation of the sleep, and it helps to relieve the exhaustion. And especially Shirobhanga, it also helps to prevent the premature graying of the hair, baldness, etc. And there are many studies to tell that when we massage, especially the physiological stress measures come down, especially the cortisol, these things come down, and also it relaxes the body, especially the massage improves the parasympathetic responses in the body. Hence, daily massage could also helps in effectively the counteract the stress related situations. And bath is one thing that it is very much important. So advocacy of bath was done to be taken daily, and it is told to be as Ayushya. Especially bath is told to improve the longevity, and especially it is been told to take in the morning. Especially it enhances the strength and the complexion. So here, especially one point that we need to see is regarding the usage of hot and cold water. This is very much important. So wherein cold water is mainly recommended for the head bath. Why? Because pouring hot water on the head without proper oiling of the head or not daily, without proper oiling, it could impact the senses. Hence, the cold water is being daily or a lukewarm water is what that is being preferred for the head bath, if you are doing it on a daily basis without oiling of the head. But there is a caution that cold water should be avoided during the early winter and spring season. And bath is especially contraindicated after food during indigestion and in people who are having eye and ear disorders. So this is quite common. You can see that if water goes in, especially if there is underlying condition, it could again exacerbate the current condition. Hence, it needs to be prevented in especially in the infective conditions like eye and ear disorders. And after food and during digestion, again, you say you pour hot water over the body, peripheral vasodilation, much of the circulation will be towards periphery. And again, it induces the indigestion and it could adversely affect the health. And daily bath is told to be, it maintains the health and also it improves the appetite. And there are different bath types of bath that have been nowadays that have been in practice. And especially the avagaha or the immersion type of bath has been told to improve the subjective feeling of the profile of mood status, especially the skin conditions and all. So hence here, including all these aspects as a daily routine is one or the other way. It either helps to improve our cognition, it helps to improve our oral hygiene, thereby prevent most of the lifestyle related disorders over a period of time. And one more thing that has been advocated is the anjana or the application of the eyeliner the kajal to the eyes. Especially here, the eyes are compared to that of the sun, and as the eyes are located in the head is the seat for kapha, and the eyes are more can be susceptible for the any type of conditions, especially which are being influenced by the kapha dosha. Hence, the kapha dosha in the head needs to be kept under a check, for which the application of the colorium is being especially indicated. So, especially the one colorium that is being prepared but of Berberis aristotle, it is being advocated to apply once in 5 or 8 days, especially in the night. So it helps to clear the eyes and it helps to it improves the vision, and also it helps to prevent the lifestyle related disorders. And one more thing is the under the daily regime that is being advocated is the nasya. So here nasya is nothing but the nasal installation, wherein nose is considered to be as the gateway of the head. You know that most of the infections, especially the CNS infections, spread to the nose, and hence the most of the disorders that that have an abode in the head, they can, or the above the clavicle, they can be prevented by regular practice of this nasya. So especially this nasya is being advocated in rainy season, autumn and spring. Especially if you see, these are the seasons wherein slowly the viral infections creep in over a period of time. So hence, when we regularly practice the nasya, so this improves the nasal epithelium, that is, it improves the immune of the nasal epithelium, and it helps to prevent most of the infections to spread from the nasal epithelium to that of the head. And this is also, nasya is very helpful in proper maintenance of the sleep and also in preventing most of the neurological functions related to that of the head and neck. So especially here, the nasya that we practice on a daily basis, we call it as Pratimasha nasya, wherein just 2 drops of either sesame oil or a coconut oil can be done, wherein just we can just bend our head, tilt our head to 45 degrees, and 2 drops of oil can be applied. And even this was advocated as a preventive measure during the time of COVID by the Ayush Ministry for the effective control of the infection. So these are the few lifestyle things that one need to adapt in order to either to for the promotion of the health, or either for the prevention of most of the diseases which manifest as a part of either in terms of infection or due to that of the lifestyle changes. So next is very much important is some of the dietary regulations. Here the diet itself is a vast chapter, what to eat, what not to eat. But these are the general dietetic rules that are being told, which is very much important, where one person should give utmost importance when he consumes the food on a daily basis. Mainly they are Ushna Mashniya. The person should eat food which is very warm, which is freshly prepared. Snigdha Mashniya. He should be having some amount of, especially adding ghee to the rice or whatever roti that we eat, especially it aids in improving the digestion. Why? Because we know that ghee is a agni. There is a biological fire inside our the body also, and we know that when we put ghee on the fire slowly ignites. So hence a small amount of ghee that we intake, it helps to enhance the digestion, and also the small amount of these fatty acids are also very much important in regulating most of our immune functions. And Matravat Ashniya, this is very much important. Eat in proper quantity. Why? Because if you overeat, eventually you will end up in indigestion, and that could lead into lifestyle disorders. Or if you eat less, that can also result in deficiency of essential nutrients. So hence, especially here, that Matravat Ashniyat is very much important, wherein a person has to take the food in a balanced state. Here, what is that proper quantity is very much important. If you see, the classics have divided the stomach into three parts. We call it as Trivida Kukshi, wherein we call it as one third, one third, one third. Whereas one third is given for the food solid aspect, one third is given for the liquid aspect, and one third is given for the space for the air, where it aids for the proper digestion. And uh, next is Jirana Ashniya. This is very much important. Before we take the next meal, we should ascertain that the meal that has been taken previously is well digested. This is very much important. Without giving importance to that, the digestion of the previous meal, if you consume, already there will be an indigestion that will be setting, and you will be again aggravating the status of indigestion, which could again affect the status of health. And Virya Viruddha Mashniya. There are mutually incompatible food. The combination should be wholesome. The unwholesome combination should be especially prevented. Why? Because this itself could manifest in some of, like it could form an antigenic kind of a material wherein the body rejects it, and it could manifest in the terms of allergy kind of a thing. And Ishtadeshe, Ishtopavasa Karanam. Let us eat in a right place with good accessory, with a hygienic place. This is very much important in order to prevent the spread of the infections also. And na ati dhritam ashniya. Neither slowly eat, neither take the food very fast. So we should eat very calm, and the one word that is being used as saumanasya. You should eat very with a calmful mind, and you should eat with the utmost concentration, wherein we should neither not speak to the neighbor, the person who is sitting next to you, or watching something else. Why? Because most of the time when we eat food without proper concentration, we generally try to forget what is the quantity of food that we have taken. We tend to eat the whole of the things, or we may not eventually end up not taking the proper food. Hence, it is very much important to take the food at the utmost concentration. Why? Because we call it as Annam Brahma. So what we eat is what we will be like that. So hence, the food that what we take should be of utmost with respect, and with concentration we need to take. So next we move on to that of the seasonal regimes. So basically, if you see that we can seasons have been identified wherein there are 6 seasons, especially the Ayurveda has like not only Ayurveda, in Indian systems of medicine there are 6 seasons that have been identified, where these all 6 seasons have their own effects on the body. So wherein these 6 seasons have been broadly classified into two, wherein each of the three fitting, where they are called as Adana Kala or Visarga Kala. So especially this Adana Kala is one period wherein slowly the earth or the environment takes the energy from us, and in Visarga Kala it is slowly over a period of time the environment gives energy to us. And in each of these seasons, especially the Tridoshas, especially Vata, Pitta, Kapha, they change owing to their seasonal effects. So why? Because in each of this season, there will be a lot of changes in terms in related to that of the taste that is dominant in the environment and the type of quality that is been dominant in the environment. So based on the taste and the quality that is been dominant in the environment affects the body and also it affects the doshas, for which according to that season we need to modulate our lifestyle and we need to adapt that lifestyle so that we can prevent the seasonal disorders. So this is very much important. In order to mainly prevent the seasonal disorders, these seasonal regimes have been advocated. So as discussed, especially the Uttarayana is basically consists of Shishira, Vasanta and Grishma. So especially this is wherein slowly the body is slowly the environment takes our strength. If you see from Shishira to Vasanta and Vasanta to Grishma, in Shishira the strength will be good. When it comes down to Vasanta, again the strength comes down. And once it comes to Grishma, which is the summer, the strength will be at a low. So here the environment slowly takes away the strength from our body. And here basically the sun and the wind will be more powerful in the nature. So hence the energy will be drawn. So, and if you see in atmosphere, naturally, the soil or the water, especially, it will be mainly the drugs or especially the grains which are being grown during this season. They are more dominant with that of the bitter, astringent, and pungent taste. So hence here the body would have a reduced strength. So hence, owing to all these changes, there is a particular type of regime that is being told. So when if you follow, then the seasonal disorders which naturally manifest due to these changes can be very much prevented. Similarly, when you go to that of the Dakshinayana, which is moon is more powerful than the sun. So if you see here from Varsha, Sharad and Hemanta, from rainy season, it starts. Slowly the energy increases. Here the environment starts to give her the energy. So this is the period when a person will be having more strength. So that's why while I was talking about the Vyayama in Dinacharya, this is the period where the strength slowly increases, where in the exercise and other things, especially in terms of the food, the quality that we take, etc., can be changed. Whereas in Uttarayana, we mainly restore to diet which is very light in nature, which is easy to digest, more of a watery kind of a juices, fruits kind of a thing. Whereas when it comes to the Dakshinayana, so here it is moon predominant. Here the strength of the person will be very good. Even the digestive capacity of the person will be very good. He can restore for the good food eating. So especially here naturally the food grains etc. that we grow during this season will be dominant with that of the sour, salty and sweet taste. And if you see, these are more high in caloric and also they are in the quality wise. So these are the certain modifications wherein according to the seasons that we need to do in order to prevent the manifestation of the season related disorders. So especially here in nowadays, as we are being able to clearly identify the winter, summer and rainy, I would just stick on to these three seasons. So what should be the type of food that and the lifestyle that we need to adapt. So especially in Hemanta Shishira, this is sort of the Dakshinayana kind of a thing where the digestive power will be more. So wherein a person can restore himself to a fatty food, especially heavy to digest kind of a thing. Especially here, the freshly harvested grains can be taken, especially in terms of black gram, wheat, especially the food which is heavy to digest can be taken in this season. And buttermilk, ghee, and especially the dairy products are recommended in this season. And in this season, as the strength will be more and the kapha is more dominated, in order to see that there is no excess kapha, the exercise especially is recommended, and the massage in terms of rubbing the body with the medicated powders, oil massage, and also the taking of different Vedana, the sedation, and also Atapasevana, basking in sun is mainly recommended for this season. And when it comes to that of summer, again, here the power of digestion will be less. Here the sun dominates, it drains away the energy. Here the dryness and heat prevails. Hence, here the food which are sweet and cold need to be taken. So especially here we need to take the food such as rice, milk, ghee, grapes, coconut water, and sugar. And when we see here the roasted barley, here especially we call it a sattu, when the grains are roasted. Any grains when they are roasted, they become very light. We call it as samskara gunanvartana. So if you want any grains to be make them light, we need to fry them, dry roast them, and then if you put water and cook, they are easy for digestion. And rasala, especially here, the well churned curd with the sugar, shada, that is different juice prepared out of the citrus fruits and other. These are the main things that we need to restore. Why? Because this is the stage where we have been not able to digest the food which are heavy to digest. Hence, when we restore to these kind of foods, we can most of the time will be able to prevent the indigestion, and also the particular season where the dryness, heat, especially that has been there, this can be subsided by this kind of food and lifestyle. And Varsha Rutu is the monsoon, especially in the mid-July. Again, here is also, it's the stage where slowly the energy slowly starts to increase. So especially in rainy season, one thing you can see is that the fresh water drops into the earth and it carries all the things into the river, especially the dissolved salts and other things. Everything will be carried into the rivers, and such sort of acidity or amlata would prevalent in the environment. And over a period of time here, from Varsha next is Sharad, the pitta slowly starts to accumulate. And this is the stage wherein the person can end up in indigestion, especially when he takes salty or too much of spicy food. But when we take naturally in this season, the strength of the body, etc., will be less. And it's a stage where it is slowly picking up. So hence here, in order to, this is a stage wherein we will be susceptible for a lot of infections. So especially here, we need to safeguard our digestion, especially using ginger in our diet, ginger and rock salt, especially Bhojanagre Sadapatyam Lavanargaka Bhakshanam, it is told. Especially this is the season where we need to take salt and ginger, especially it helps to improve our digestion. We can take buttermilk, ginger, and food, especially processed, or honey and other things. Why? Because honey is also an immunomodulator, and it helps to slowly improve the health. Honey imparts the healthy thing. So these are the certain lifestyle changes, modification that we need to adapt according to the season in order to prevent the seasonal related disorders. So is there any relevance of these daily regime and the seasonal regimes in the modern era? Yes, definitely is there. How even when we go and talk about from the Dinacharya and Ritucharya point of view and from the classics point of view, we will mainly highlight the aspect of metabolism. So you know that once the metabolism goes on the toss, that sets in an environment for the immune system to have an inflammatory response, and this inflammatory response can result in manifestation of various disorders. Now we can also see there is a lot of link to that of the gut microbiome and to various disorders that are being manifest. And if you see, the human gut microbiome is a vital as any other organ in the body, and this gut microbiome participates in lot of variety of the functions in the body, especially in related to the metabolism, maintenance of the immunity, gene expression, food, and drug efficacy. So there is a lot of data which can suggest there is a strong association between the gut microbiota, season, temperature, and also with the diet. So that's what we are being able to see here: the diet, the season, and also the hygiene that we maintain, where it impacts the gut microbiome. So wherein if the gut microbiome leads to dysbiosis, then you can see that dysbiosis is leading to a very large spectrum of disorders ranging from inflammatory disorders, especially from IBD to that of the colorectal cancers, and also especially the behavioral disorders like autism and also ADHD. So hence, there is a link wherein the metabolism and the gut microbiome is there. which it needs to be maintained. So there are also biorhythms that have been identified in Ayurveda, and there is also biorhythms in relation to that of the gut microbiome. Even all the, as a human has a biological clock and a rhythm, even the bacteria, especially the gut microbiome, has a rhythm. And even the doshas in the body are also have a rhythm. Especially there is a predominance of kapha dosha in early hours of the morning. Similarly, in early hours in mid pitta, and late in the evening it is vata. Similarly, in the early hours of the evening, when the night sets in, the kapha, pitta, and vata. Similarly, there is a dominance. There is a biorhythms for the doshas. There is a biorhythms for the gut microbiome. There is a biological clock for us. The metabolism is dependent on all these things. So hence, the lifestyle affects each of these things. So in order to have, when we change or modulate our lifestyle according to the recommended things in terms of daily and seasonal regimes, this especially helps in imparting good health, and we can prevent a lot of lifestyle related disorders. And especially research on gut bacteria reveals, and there is, as I told you, there is a daily rhythm, and also there is a seasonal biorhythms, which can also be seen from dosha's point of view. So hence, these circadian rhythms and gut microbiome appears to have a bidirectional influence, and they influence the health. So what is the modern concept that how we can relate these daily and seasonal regimes is through that modulating this gut microbiome through our changes in lifestyle and diet. So this has also been seen, especially there were studies conducted by Davenport and Smith, which has seen that a human gut microbiome varies seasonally. Especially they have been able to identify the abundance of particular taxa in overall gut microbiome diversity according to the seasons. So this effectively states the influence of the season over the gut microbiome. And one more important thing of the Ritucharya is the biocleansing and the Ritucharya. So basically, I told you that the doshas vary according to the season, and there are particular seasons wherein owing to the seasonal effect, naturally the doshas gets provocated. And at that point of time, if we are not following the seasonal regime, the doshas further get aggravated, and it could lead to the manifestation of disorders. Hence, when we adhere to the seasonal regimes, especially in terms of biocleansing, especially in Vasanta Rutu, it is the stage wherein the kapha will be in its peak. So especially when the induced emesis, the therapeutically induced emesis is conducted, it especially helps to prevent the kapha-related disorders, especially respiratory infections and all. And similarly, in Sharad Rutu, when Virechana is conducted, especially Virechana is therapeutically induced purgation, it helps to prevent the GI disturbance. And in Varsha Rutu, its Vata provocation happens. You can see much of the musculoskeletal pain and other things happen during this season. So owing to this, when the therapeutic enema is practiced in this season, it helps to prevent a lot of musculoskeletal and neurological conditions. So the changes in the biorhythms, especially in terms of seasonal, it relates to that of the lifestyle changes, it relates to that of dietetic changes, and also some of the biocleansing things that are been recommended that needs to be practiced. So overall, if you summarize, if you see, when a person's follow the proper Dinacharya, Ritucharya, and all, so there is healthy lifestyle. So especially the molecular metabolism or the tissue metabolism will be very good, and it leads to the homeostasis, that is samadosha samagnishna samadhatu malakriya. Then it leads to the prakriti or a normal state. If not, once it is deviated, then it affects and it leads to imbalance, that is vikara dhatu vaishamyam, that is there will be non-homeostasis among these things, and especially it leads to the disease status. So hence we should try to follow a balanced lifestyle in order to prevent these lifestyle related disorders. So these are the few things for the further reading. And the concept of the beginning of or the manifestation of the disease from the gut is being told in the classics by 5,000 years back, and also it is being endorsed by Hippocrates, where he tells that Hippocrates tells that all disease begins in the gut, and that's what Ayurveda tells us the rogaha sarvayapi mandagni. So impaired digestion of the metabolism, especially in terms of the gut dysbiosis, is mainly responsible for the manifestation of the most of these disorders. With a disciplined daily regimes and the seasonal regimes, I think we can maintain the homeostasis of these microbes that are there in the body, and we can prevent the dysbiosis, and we can prevent the manifestation of most of the lifestyle related disorders. And I would like to conclude my class here with there is a simile where it tells, as a person who knows how to safeguard his city, Nagari, Nagarasya Eva, he knows how to protect it and he protects it. Similarly, Ratasaiva Rati Tata, that is a person who knows how to ride a chariot, he rides it very well. Similarly, a person, one intelligent person who knows how to maintain the health. So he maintains his health in a very good shape, and he restores to health wherein he doesn't suffer from any of the diseases. So that is the maintenance is only through knowing all these regimes and preventing the disorders. So with this, I conclude my class, and we can go for the question and answer session.
Thank you very much, Dr. Umesh. I think it has been a comprehensive class where the aspects related to lifestyle of one's own daily regimen and the seasonal regimen have been covered elaborately. I see some questions that are there in the chat box. What will be the ideal procedure for ear massage?
The ideal procedure for ear massage is that, sir, first the external, especially the external, what the ear, the pinna and the lobe is there, that needs to be massaged first, especially the round, the externally the round, and internally over the internally on this aspect. And later on, the advocacy of putting oil to the ear is been there in Ayurveda, wherein there is a lot of skepticism on this from the modern point of view. But what we do is that after the massage, some amount of sedation, a light steam can be taken, and around a dosage of around 6 drops of oil can be put. It can be left for around 3 to 4 seconds, and it can be cleaned. And this should be repeated around at least 3 times. So then it helps in proper oleation of the ears and also the external thing. So this is what that practically we follow for the ear massage and also for oiling of the ears, which we call it as Karnapurani.
Is it exercise first or massage first?
It is exercise first. After exercise, it is the massage. Why? Because whatever or why after Vyayama, a slight massage is being told. And once you massage after the Vyayama, whatever all the impact that is being there due to that of even it could be some faulty exercises or the wear and tear or the stress that we are given over to the tendons, muscles, and the joints, these can be very much prevented by applying the oil. Why? Because the concept is that for the movement, it is Vata that is being responsible. It is the Vana Vata that is being responsible for the movement in all directions. So when you exercise, there is a small amount of Vata that could aggravate. So once you put oil and massage, so that specifies that, and it prevents the further any complication that could occur because of the exercise where the wear and tear, etc. This can be prevented.
We'll take one last question. What sort of physical activity can be prescribed for indigestion patient in order to improve their Agni, since exercises are contraindicated?
Generally, I think as a default, exercise is contraindicated. When we talk about exercise, I think especially in terms of yoga, I think Kapalabhati can be prescribed, which is a bellow kind of a thing. When you do a fast breathing practice, it aids to improve because Kapalabhati is told to be as Kapahara. And indigestion sets in mainly because of the Kapha. And when we practice Kapalabhati, especially Kapalabhati helps in improving the digestion.
Beautifully answered, Dr. Umesh. Kapalabhati and Agnisara Kriya. That is what we recommend. Thank you so much, Umesh.
Thank you, sir.
For a wonderful class.
Thank you very much.
In every class of yours, I also learn a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.